Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Behind the Scenes 2020. My name's Tye Gregory, and I'm the Executive Director of JCRC. For those who don't know me, it's a pleasure to connect with you in my living room, where the background is not as pleasant as the one you have before you. Everyone's familiar with Zoom now, so here we go. It's been quite an interesting past couple months for me personally, as well as for the community. I actually got here 2 months ago, ready and a speech in hand to deliver at the in-person Behind the Scenes Gala. It was supposed to be a 5-day work trip. I was supposed to go back home to New York and start this gig on June 1st. Clearly, things worked out a little bit differently for me and for everyone, and I've been here ever since. And given the times and the urgent needs, we moved up my start date to April 1st, and it's been an honor and a privilege to start this job with such an incredible staff and board and community and lay leaders behind me to do this incredible work. So I want to start by thanking our incredible co-chairs, Colonel Pete Gleichenhaus and Myrna Melger. Thank you so much for your leadership in getting us to this place. I want to thank our incredible honorees, Rita Semo, one of my amazing predecessors, a trailblazer in our community. I want to thank Chancellor Kara Christ, who has stood up for our community and our values at UC Berkeley. I want to thank Jen and Tony Smorgan. Greetings, I hope you're doing well in Hawaii. Thank the two of you for your incredible leadership and philanthropy for the Jewish community and for our neighbors, things that JCRC cares about. And of course, to my dear friend Manny Yakutiel, the two of us grew up together in the Jewish community and went through the Jewish Federation's LGBT Pathways program for emerging LGBT Jewish leaders. So hello to all of you and congratulations. Of course, I want to thank the sponsors and all of you for joining us and for supporting JCRC. You know, this is an incredibly difficult time for our Jewish community, and COVID has really told us who we are and reminded us of who we are, but it's also unveiled some important challenges for us to ask. It's no secret that our JCCs and many of our institutions today are in trouble, and that's why JCRC has been advocating for nonprofits to be able to apply for these incredibly important small business loans, to keep people on payroll, to pay the bills, and to make sure that our Jewish institutions can reopen soon so that we can have more community in-person opportunities when the time allows for it. But it forced us to ask some difficult questions. What does it mean to build community when we can't have these in-person engagements? How are we going to engage new and younger people in the community? How can we make sure that the fabric of the Jewish community matches the demographics that we know to be true? How can we bring in LGBT folks in our community and Jews of color and interfaith families and make sure that we are being fully inclusive? At JCRC, everyone has a seat at our table, and we think that we represent everyone. So our doors are open to you. But we can't just look inside the Jewish community. We have to look beyond our walls, because there are people suffering outside of our community, just like us. It's no secret that brown and black Americans are suffering the brunt of this crisis, both in terms of health and economic ramifications. JCRC, for a long, long time, has advocated for racial and economic justice in our community and in this country, and we need to double down on that investment. We know that the Jewish community's future is dependent on the depth and strength of our relationships with communities outside of our own, and these communities need our help. We cannot turn inward at a time like this. We're very proud that we organized 20 Jewish community organizations across the Bay Area to purchase a full-page ad in Tsingtao, the Cantonese news source for the Bay Area, condemning anti-Asian xenophobia, racism that's been spreading rampant throughout this crisis. And we're having an important conversation right now with our Asian American partners and elected officials and civic leaders about the pattern that we as Jews know to be true of anti-Semitism and xenophobia that has led to scapegoating against us over centuries. And sure enough, as we've seen at state capitals against Gavin Newsom, against the Jewish Illinois governor, J.B. Pritzker, anti-Semitism is rearing its head right now. We've seen some nasty signs, we've seen some nasty behavior, and sure enough, this investment in starting this conversation with the Asian American community has quickly become a duality, an important conversation for us as Jews have been scapegoated to this crisis, particularly the Orthodox Jewish community. But that's not where it stops, because we have to look even further. We have to widen the lens even further and look at what happens with the U.S.-Israel relationship right now, especially here in the Bay Area. Listen, Without birthright trips, without opportunities for trip providers to bring people to Israel, without Israelis coming here to dialogue with us and to have Israel engagement content, we have to ask ourselves, how do we keep this relationship intact? There's been no secret that there's been a drift between the Jewish diaspora and Israelis over the past decade or more, and we need to figure out a way to keep that relationship intact, even as we disagree on government policies on one country or the other. At the end of the day, we are one global Jewish family, and we have a responsibility to safeguard and advocate and be in community with our Israeli brothers and sisters. There's no shortage of challenges here, and this is a very difficult time. But what makes me proud to start a role in a time like this is that we have all of you. We have people that understand that our success and our future depends on our ability to continue the relationship building with our neighbors. And that's what JCRC does best. There is an urgent need to continue this work. It's not going to look like it did before. We've had incredible success with interfaith seders and civic engagements events, Jewish heritage nights, sit-down iftar dinner with our neighbors. All those things are going to have to look different. We're going to have to find new ways to build relationships. We're going to have to find new ways to come together and advocate. But if one thing is true about Bay Area Jewish community, like Jewish community around the world, is that change has always been relevant and it's always been a constant. And I have no doubt we've overcome much more difficult odds than this, that if we band together, we will get there. So I want to thank all of you for coming. We have an incredible program over the course of the next week. And every day you're going to hear a new component of our gala that we would have delivered to you in person. I'm not in a tuxedo. I'm dressed a little bit differently, and so are you for this gala experience. But we're going to adapt, and we're going to enjoy this. And I really want to thank our staff, our communications director, Jeremy, our development director, John, and their teams, because they have done an incredible job pivoting in a timely manner to make sure that we can pay the proper tribute to our honorees, to honor the commitments that all of you have made to JCRC so that we can keep this community going. So on behalf of all of us at JCRC, thanks for tuning in, and we hope you enjoy Behind the Scenes 2020.